Okay, well, I'm going to do a little bit of a weird thing. I mean, not really, but a different type of reading. I'm going to do it backwards, though. I'm going to pull from the oracle cards first and then pull from the tarot. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see what the message is and how it aligns for you. Doing it backwards. I don't usually show this part of actually shuffling the cards. I know some people like to see it, but other people may find it tedious or unnecessary to watch that part. But some people need the proof. They need the proof that you're not making it up. Okay, from the Endless Oracle, let's see. What is the message? Okay, interesting. So you've got the well, the dog, the lighthouse, and the clashing armies is on the bottom. Okay. Let's see what the message is here. Partly this is why I don't like him either, because it's a lot of talking before we get to the actual message, the actual meat of the reading. And I feel like people are kind of bored with that. Maybe that's just me. It's today's type of go, go, go world. There's no time to sit and really listen to someone, especially if they're jabbering on. Okay, the well is about wishes, hopefulness, optimism, idealism, and faith. Remain optimistic and don't be afraid of making wishes. This is a card of both making wishes and seeing them become fulfilled. Faith in your ability to manifest your wishes may not always seem like much, but can often be essential in hard times. Believing sincerely in your wishes coming true can also help drive you to see them realized. While this card encourages wishful thinking, remember that hopes and ambitions rarely become a reality without taking some kind of action. In the right context, this card could even serve as a reminder not lean too deeply into optimism that is misguided or wishful thinking that is not accompanied by an effort to manifest your dreams. Interesting, because right before I stopped my music, I decided to make a video. The song that was playing was that money mantra loop, and it was ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. Every time it ching, money comes to me. It all flows in so abundantly from the top, left, right, and up under me. So it's interesting that the first card out is literally about making wishes and putting some sort of effort behind it to manifest what it is that you actually desire. The dog, I feel like that's obviously going to be about loyalty, connection to nature, primal self, loyalty, close friend, domestic versus wild. Something is calling out to your more wild nature. It may be important to ask whether or not it's worth heeding the call of the wild. Examine your relationship to nature and your more primal self. This card may encourage you to pay close attention to your animal instincts. Dogs are also popular symbols of loyal and supportive friends and can be associated with domestication. When the dog appears in your readings, it is a signal that you should examine your domestic and wild aspects. That's so interesting, because it feels like you're going to have to get really primal. You're going to have to really dig into your wild side to be able to answer this calling for a bigger wish fulfillment than you've previously thought possible. But it's going to require you to step outside of the norm, to do something different than you would normally do. But I think it's also about being loyal to yourself, about choosing yourself, recognizing that your happiness is your responsibility. Other people's happiness is their own responsibility. Okay, and the next is the lighthouse. Direction, beckoning, goals, reaching out, and intention. Against the dark of night, the lighthouse shines a beacon to be followed. It represents one's sense of direction or the force that is guiding them. It may represent a calling, such as a goal and the path to get there, or it may even be a call to action or cause to pursue. Something is reaching out to you and offering a bright point to follow. It is up to you whether or not to heed the beckoning of this card. Take time to search for obstacles and decide if the path before you is treacherous. You may decide that following the beacon is not always worth the risk. That's so in alignment with the other two cards about following your intuition and really looking at the path ahead like an honest assessment and figure out what your goals are, figure out what your obstacles are. And I think it's also about recognizing what it is that you're being called for. This gives me like hermit vibes, lighting the way for others. But that means that that's braving the darkness alone without a guide. And in essence, you become the guide for others. You become what it is that you didn't have. But I also feel like it's about listening to that inner pull and being clear about which direction you're being pulled in and being consistent with the effort that you make. Make sure that it is consistent to your true wants and needs. Again, staying true to yourself, self-loyalty. And the clashing armies, that is conflicts, destruction, chaos, fighting for something, struggle, and risk. A destructive battle is taking place. Two parties may be arguing or competing in some way. Something may be violently torn down. The clashing armies can predict conflict, but also calls us to consider if our battles are worth fighting. Sometimes destruction is necessary, and some fights are worth the cost of battle. Yet on other occasions, we may find ourselves fighting senselessly, destroying even things that we care about with no real goal in sight. Knowing what you're fighting for. But I also feel like it's the fight between the old and the new. Your new life will cost you your old life. Your new mindset will cost you your old mindset. And in essence, that could have been some kind of security blanket, although it hasn't really served you. I mean, it served you to a point, but it's also limited the success that you could accomplish because of that. And I think that's why there's such a shift or transformation happening, moving into your abundance. But it is like this fight, knowing what you're fighting for, learning to pick your battles. Okay, so that's sort of how the reading is shaping up so far. I feel like this is going to be for a very few select people because most people probably won't even make it past the intro. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not here to make millions. I'm literally just sharing messages. And when I feel called to do that, and well, when I actually answer that call, these videos are what happens. Okay, from visions in the liminal space, because it does seem like that makes sense. That was the endless oracle. So this is like, I feel like breaking out of cycles and repeated lessons finally being learned. But I feel like it's about self-worth and self-value and self-loyalty. But you become a teacher. You are a healer. You are a spiritual master in your own right, but it's almost like you have to get out of your own way. You have to stop sabotaging your own mindset. And it feels like this liminal space between the old and the new. One door is closed, the next door has not yet opened. But while you're in this liminal space, you're in this fight of choosing who you're going to be. Energy follows intention. That's a very interesting first card to come out. Energy follows intention. Okay, of course we got 4 and then the one on top. So we'll do that. Beware nostalgia. There and back again. Butterfly dreams. 1111. And the card on the bottom of the deck is Sparkle Sparkle Bitch. Oh, you can't even see that. It's all the way up there. That's okay. We'll move these over a little bit. Don't mind my crystal grid here in the corner. I've just been doing some things. Okay. I guess those are all mostly in the frame. Perfection is not key. It is not necessary for the message. Okay, let us see what this has for us. Energy follows intention. The human brain, composed of billions of nerve cells and trillions of synapses, generates enough electricity to power a light bulb and processes information 300 times faster than the fastest computer. Breakthrough technology can translate mental commands into physical control of objects through the power of thought alone. The mind, much like the universe, is both beyond comprehension and constantly revealing itself. But before any of this was known, the premise that thoughts have power have been touted and utilized since the ancients. Like all science, this was magic before its mechanics were observed. That energy follows intention is a fundamental rule of magic. It may not happen if you think about it, but if you don't think about it, it will never happen. And that is, again, in alignment. So that tells me that things are moving into alignment. You're receiving messages that are confirming that alignment, because this is about following your intuition, but knowing what it is you're fighting for, knowing your intention, being very intentional and mindful about the effort that you put in. Again, because you can't just wish on a star, throw a coin in a wishing well. You have to have some kind of action behind it. Planting seeds in your own favor. Beware nostalgia. Whew. Don't get stuck in the past. Okay. A state of being native to memory lane. Like nightshade flora, this species holds nutritional value in moderation, while toxic or even lethal in larger doses. A bout of nostalgia in all its wistful splendor can move an individual to call their mother or write a poem or play a record and cry or laugh or sing or sigh. Its benefits span from fleeting tenderness to deep catharsis. When consumed in excess, however, symptoms may include depression, delusion, and impaired executive functioning. If you or a loved one have overindulged in nostalgia, please secure all electronics in another room until effects have passed. In rare instances, the effects do not pass. Untended, nostalgia's secret gardens grow thick and wild. Its subject is bound to the locked gates, protecting the fortress whose doors cannot be entered, whose windows can only be peered through. There is nothing to be done for someone this inextricably bound to their sadness. The decision to leave the departed and unrequited behind and join the land of the living is deeply personal and immensely difficult, but always possible. This is a spell, sometimes a curse, always a threshold. And thresholds are not to be lingered on. Wow, okay. It's really like, don't look back, you're not going that way. You can look at where you came from, but that is not your true north. That is not your guide. There's something different guiding you now. And understanding that as this is a liminal space, one door has closed. You can't get back through that door. You can't go back to being who you were before all of the insight, the self-awareness, the knowledge. You can't unsee what you have seen. Don't look back. You're not going that way. And then we have there and back again. We must venture forward. Exactly. We must answer the call. Again with the calling. We must be bold and brave. We must leave all we've known behind and make our own way. We must slay the dragon, capture the gold, and reach the mountaintop. And then we must go home, where our treasure has been all along. Oh, wow. This is giving me chills. It's like fighting these battles, but understanding that home is wherever you are. It's like everywhere you go, there you are. Again, knowing what you're fighting for, keeping that in mind. This is also giving me like Hanged Man vibes, like an alternative perspective, but willingly going through something difficult because you know it will be better in the long run. So it's like, go out and heal, fight your battles, fight your demons, face them, but then come back home and relish in the peace that you have built for yourself. It's like at some point you have to lay down the sword. Butterfly dreams. The fruits of your current reality were sown as seeds in a past one. Every version carries clues of your becoming, as well as choices that will inform it. What was once a poster on the wall is now a car in your garage. The notes in your journal, now a book. Your dreams for the future made real in the present. This is how life moves. Does the caterpillar have any way of conceptualizing what it will become at the onset of its chrysalis? Do you? Perhaps it feels like dying. Possibly they sense deep in their primordial ooze that they are being reborn. Perhaps both are true. That everything's in alignment. The old versus the new. Dreaming bigger than you've ever dared before. Becoming the truest version of yourself. Knowing that the DNA for your wings was held within that goo all of this time. In the middle of that chrysalis, in the middle of that liminal space, you already had everything you needed to become who you're supposed to be, who you're being called to be. You literally have everything inside of you. That's so powerful. There's nothing you're lacking. And 1111. The crown jewel of time magic. 1111 descends twice daily on the wings of angels and invites its witness to make a wish. This wish portal, that wishing well right there, this wish portal opens so frequently that one must wonder if the universe requires wishes in much the same way an automobile requires gasoline. Or perhaps spirit delights in receiving wishes in much the same way as humans revel in casting them out. Whether they are, that did not say out. Let me read that again. Perhaps spirit delights in receiving wishes in much the same way as humans revel in casting them. Whether they are an essential resource or luxury item in the spirit world, a wish cast, or rather the belief behind casting said wish, carries value across dimensions. It may, in fact, be what makes this whole thing go. For the weary traveler and those who, for an array of reasons, have lost faith in the efficacy of wish-making, this recurring visitor is merely a tick of the clock, unnoticed but inexorable, a quiet, perpetual invitation to hope. In either case, it offers only a slight smile, a squeeze on the shoulder, a mischievous wink before dissolving back into infinity. It's like the signs are all around you, but you can decide whether you pay attention to them or not. But again, it's about recognizing the signs that you're moving into alignment. And as they say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And again, it talked about you're being invited to make wishes. This wishing well, these angel numbers you're constantly seeing are inviting you into this portal, this abundant energy that you're so deserving of. But it will require you to take the baby steps necessary. Take the physical actions, cast the wish, throw the coin in the well. Know your intentions. Because it's almost like Spirit's literally serving this up on a silver platter for you. Because everything's falling into alignment. It's like taking the path of least resistance. I mean, that feels like spirit, the great spirit of all there is rooting for you. It's literally rooting for you to heed this calling, to be who you're becoming, to allow yourself to be who you are, to seek the deepest and darkest parts of yourself and know that no matter what, you will always find your way back to yourself. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't get stuck in who you were. Keep following who you're becoming. That is leading you to your magic. That is leading you to your purpose. That's powerful. Wow. Okay, we're throwing out the big dogs today. We got the heavy duty spiritual stuff. Okay, and sparkle, sparkle, bitch. Every being is, at their core, sparkling and luminous. Some call it soul, some call it the bit of God dwelling in each of us, others just call it sparkle, sparkle, bitch. To be unapologetically sparkly in a dull world is an act of resistance and an act of hope, too. That's the perfect card to end that series of cards there. To be unapologetically yourself. You literally came here to be the light, to brighten a dull, dark, mundane world. And the thing is, we all know that diamonds go through the most excruciating process to become what they are. And you are meant to shine. You are not meant to fit in. You are born to stand out. And you're meant to dream bigger and not hold yourself back by the past. The past does not dictate your future. Just because you used to be a caterpillar does not negate the fact that you're literally born to be a butterfly. But it is knowing that everything you need is already inside of you. There's nothing missing. So fight whatever battles you need to fight. Find whatever it is you need to find. But know that you are right here. The soul that dwells within this body, this mind, this perspective, this experience. You are the observer. This physical life is so finite and temporary, but your soul is literally forever. And that part of you is being activated in this liminal space. Okay, now we're going to do from this deck. I can't remember. It's like maybe Starlit Gardens, something like that. I'll look it up and then link it. I won't link it. I'll just list it in the description. So the first cup out is Three of Cups. Or the first card is Three of Cups. And it feels like this celebration, celebrating how far you've come, celebrating who it is that you've become, because you fought really, really hard to be this person. But it's also about allowing yourself to have fun, allowing yourself to be seen and experienced by people in the world. This is about friendship and connection too. Nine of Cups is what crosses that wish fulfillment. The thing is, the more that you are authentically yourself, the more you will attract people who like you for you. Because that's the thing about being on this spiritual journey, this healing journey, this ascension journey, whatever you want to call it, however it resonates with you. It can be a very lonely road because you will inevitably have to let go of friendships and people that you've known because they cannot go with you. They cannot level up with you. They choose not to. They're not on the same journey that you're on. They can't travel it with you. Doesn't mean you stop caring for them, but it means you can't take them with you. And I think that's why it's so important to remember why it is you do what you do. What is it that you're fighting for? You're fighting for yourself, for a better version of yourself. Just because you became the butterfly doesn't mean you stopped caring about your caterpillar family or your caterpillar friends. It's not their time yet. And it's your time. This is your time. This is your portal of opportunity. And it's your responsibility to seize the day, seize the moment, seize the opportunity. Because even if everybody else in your life is miserable and unhappy, doesn't mean you have to be. If they're going through things and struggling, that's okay for you to shift out of that energy. Move out of survival mode, move into thriving mode. Moving into ease, moving away from the hard knock life and moving into the soft life. But knowing that sometimes you can really only take yourself. But you have to celebrate nonetheless. Know your intentions. Know what your wishes are. You can't just cast coins into a well not knowing what you're wishing for. Have clear, honest intentions. Know what you're fighting for. And the Wheel of Fortune, again, ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. This is your time of abundance. That's the portal that you're stepping into, but you have to allow yourself. It will require a different version of you. But you are already that version that you need to be. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. Abundance, opportunity, Page of Swords. I mean, that's a pretty perfect card for that position, I think, because Page of Swords is really about not letting the chaos and the struggle of the outside world, not letting it affect your inner peace, not letting it knock you off your game, off your throne, not letting it sully or dull your perspective. Because the thing is, you fought really hard to become this peaceful version of you. To not be in constant fight or flight. You have delved into your darkest parts to figure out who you are. To figure out what you're made of. And other people don't really get to define that for you. And again, just because everybody else around you is unhappy does not mean you have to be. You're still deserving of happiness. You're still deserving of good things. What's on your mind is the Six of Wands. That's victory, achievement, and joy. That is literally your victory walk, your victory parade. And I like that. I like to see that there. That's about believing in yourself. Truly believing in yourself. Knowing who you are. Knowing that you knew yourself when you were the caterpillar. And in that goo phase, you knew yourself then. It was just chaotic and it looked a lot different. And now, as the butterfly busting out of the cocoon, you will inevitably learn this version of yourself the way you have the past versions. But it is about believing in yourself, knowing that you literally have the wings to fly. King of Wands is the near future. That's a really fast advancement from the 6 to the King. It's like skipping several steps or like skipping several grades. So it's almost like this whole test, this school of life here, you're skipping grades. You're skipping ahead. You're doing so much better than you think you are. But it's so important to celebrate your successes and achievements. Believing in yourself. This is moving with passion. This is literally embodying your purpose. Strong fire energy, but it's about motivation and determination. Not letting the past dictate the future. Knowing who you are without a doubt and embodying that and not apologizing for it. Fueled by passion, fueled by intent. It's like the universe is literally like lining things up for you, giving you opportunity after opportunity to become whoever it is that you're becoming. I mean, whether it's an artist or an author or an actress or literally anything. A father, a wife, like whatever it is, a leader, a boss, anything that you're wanting to manifest. It's about believing in yourself, believing that you have what it takes, fueling that creative edge within you. The way you see the situation is Two of Wands. Okay. This is this decision, almost like deciding which path you're going to take. Knowing that whatever path you take, whatever decision you make will be the right one. But I do feel like there is a choice here of, should I choose this or should I choose that? It's important to choose whatever path best honors you, honors the person you're becoming. Again, not getting stuck in the past or the confinement of who you used to be or who others expect you to be. But again, I think it's choosing yourself in some way, chasing your passion, deciding which path you want to follow. Do you want to be an artist or do you want to be an author? Like maybe there's both within you. There's two things pulling at you. Even this old and this new pulling at you. You have to decide, which calling are you going to heed? Which path are you going to take? Because clearly, whichever one you take is what you've been leading up to. Whatever path you take, it's going to be the right one. Even if you feel you're not ready, so you choose the same path, it will come back around at some point. All the wrong roads eventually lead to the right ones. So it's trusting your sense of direction, trusting your internal guidance. Okay, and other people see the situation as the world. This is about closing out cycles. So I do feel like it is about closing chapters in your life, but I also think that when you move into the new space that you're operating from, there won't be, when you step through that next door, there are people who will not necessarily follow you. But I also feel like you're ending major karmic cycles in your life. Again, these are lessons that have been repeated that you're finally learning. And as you're learning those very deep and powerful lessons, you are being ushered into new opportunities, new portals, new dimensions, new timelines. You're rewriting the ending. The emotions of the situation are the Empress. The Empress is attractive and she attracts what she desires. And that's the thing. She knows who she is. She knows her value. And she knows how to nurture herself and nurture the rest of the world. She's so good at pouring into her own cup, filling herself so much that her cup overflows. She gives to others from that overflow, so she's never empty. She's always got a never-ending source being refilled because she's constantly pouring into herself. But that sometimes requires separation from people. It requires rest, meditation, self-care. The Empress is a mother figure also, so I do feel like there is some kind of mother wound that is being healed. And I think it's kind of interesting that the King of Wands is just looking at me there. And so like this mother wound being healed is making way for the father wound to be healed also. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, and the final outcome is Two of Swords. Interesting, because you have the Two of Wands and now the Two of Swords, and that's about following your intuition, trusting your gut. This is not something you can think your way out of. This situation cannot be resolved following your head. It must be resolved by following your heart, following your intuition. Again, with this choice of who you are becoming, who you're choosing to become, what path you're choosing to step into. Okay, so there were kind of two for the bottom of the deck because of the way that card came out. Four of Cups and Ace of Cups. Four of Cups is interesting because it's looking at the life around you and feeling apathy, feeling discontent. But the thing is, there's something unexpected on its way. There's an unexpected choice that is about to reveal itself. And Ace of Cups is new love. It could be new self-love even. It feels like emotional healing, like deep emotional healing that has afflicted you since childhood. It kind of looks like there's a flame in that cup. And so it makes me think of like that passion, that determination, fanning your own flame. Like, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And interesting that the cups came out because I was talking about how the Empress was so good at pouring into herself that her cup overflowed. And she gave to others from the overflow. This is like really learning how to love yourself and healing the emotional attachment wounds and creating new emotional cycles to bring in possible even divine union or something like that. Under that is Eight of Wands. That's really rapid communication. What goes up must come down. You can't run from your problems. You have to turn and face them eventually. An Ace of Wands is under this one. New passion, new desire, new passionate love affairs. Like, you could potentially find you a new friend. For some people, completely platonic. For other people, not so much. It could be a very intimate affair. High Priestess under that, yeah. So it's so much about trusting the divine unfolding. Knowing that things are not set. This liminal space is not it. It's not the end of the road. There's so much more to come. There's so much more to know than what you currently know. You are a master. You are becoming a master. You're becoming a master healer. I would even say working with energy healing. And the thing is, you've learned to heal yourself. You're in process of learning to heal yourself. And those gifts will translate, and eventually you will be able to use that same energy to help heal others in the way that you healed yourself. Becoming the light that you never had. Becoming the person you needed as a child. Becoming the mother or father that you needed when you were a child. And maybe even reparenting yourself in the process. I mean, that's really what it's about, is reparenting yourself. Messages from your future higher self. Let's see what you most need to hear in this moment as you're contemplating life and which path to choose, which version to become. And the thing with, it just strikes me, the thing with being in this cocoon is nobody can bust you out of the cocoon or your wings won't be strong enough to fly. You have to bust yourself out, because in that process, that gives you the strength to use your wings. If somebody busted you out of the chrysalis, you wouldn't be strong enough. But you are already emerging from the depths and the darkness that you have overcome. Those things that shaped you. You're already emerging from that. Realize you have all the qualities to be a leader. You're already who you need to be. You already have everything inside of you that you need to have. The end of a tough cycle is approaching. You're learning that you have wings and you're learning how to use them. But recognize that this energy that you're stepping into very much is a portal energy. Makes me feel like I need to get my portal deck if I even know which one it is. Not that one, but that we can pull from too. Yeah, this one. Okay. Let's pull one more. Or two more. Know that you are safe and protected. And that boat reminds me of the six of swords, moving away from the choppy waters, moving towards thriving, towards a life of ease where everything doesn't have to be so hard. It will all make sense to you soon. And that's the thing. This life is temporary. It's finite, but eventually it will all make sense. The things you don't understand now, you will understand eventually. And you have special gifts. Never surrender to normal. And that's the thing. Again, you weren't born to fit in. You weren't supposed to fit in. You were literally born to stand out. You have special gifts, multiple special gifts. There is something unique about you. You are being called for something special. But you have to nurture those gifts within yourself. Like if you want to be a famous musician, maybe take some music classes. Maybe learn to play the piano. If you want to be a singer, maybe try to learn to write some songs. Or like take singing lessons. You want to be a writer? Start writing in your journal. You want to be a dream interpreter? Start writing down your dreams and trying to interpret them. Research, take a class, do whatever you need to do to nurture these callings within you. Okay, for the sacred soul portals, because clearly you're at a portal. You're at a point where this is an opportunity. Pure passion. I'm not surprised because the King of Wands did come out. Do some soul searching to find your true purpose. You have a special mission to fulfill. You have a special mission to fulfill, a special purpose, but it is about your passion, your creative urges, leaving your mark on the world. Long journey. You have a long way to go, but it's a lovely trip. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Again, you're being reminded to get out of your head and get into your heart. You've already come so far. Don't give up. But you do have a long way to go. But that's the thing. Once you step into this portal, you make this choice, you're stepping into abundance. You're stepping into joy. The journey ahead of you is not going to look the same as the past. It's not going to be as hard or as difficult. That's the whole point of this. Okay, I'm just going to take it. Strange Land kind of wanted to come out, kind of didn't. You are discovering things you haven't experienced before. New knowledge feeds success. So like you're entering a place you haven't been before. A part of yourself that you're still learning. stepping into rooms that you have previously not entered. Okay, the one on the bottom is passage. In the moments between going from one place to another, you taste the sweetness of life. And you are, in essence, going from one place to another. So trust that life ahead of you is a hell of a lot sweeter than the life that's behind you. So that's the thing. It is a long journey, but it's a lovely trip. A lovely, lovely trip. Okay, because I accidentally grabbed this deck looking for the Soul Portal deck, I'm going to use it because I feel like Manifest Success, I feel like it just is right in line with what we've been talking about, because ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. You're literally stepping into abundance, stepping into this Wheel of Fortune energy. Like, you can't win the lottery if you don't play. You can't win if you don't play. And that is a good analogy for everything else. You can't publish if you don't write. You can't win if you don't play. Okay, what do we have from this deck, please? What do we need to hear? Nugget, small increase, valuable info, honest assessment. The career says fresh start, steady work, and career building. Okay, we'll take it. It's looking at what's working for you and what's not working for you. But this is a fresh start. This is a chance to step into something bigger, something more long-term, something steadier, something you can build upon, not limiting yourself the same ways that you have in the past. The one on the bottom says spiral, out of control, climbing the ladder, upward trend. Career says revisiting a job, promotion, and connections. So, I mean, the thing is, you literally could be receiving promotion, a raise, moving to a job, or even a relationship that's more fulfilling. It is an upward trend, but it's important to keep what makes you you, to keep your essence about you, to keep your wits about you. Because it's important when you become this butterfly that you don't go around talking shit to other caterpillars who aren't yet transformed. That would be a little bit out of control. And it would be about getting stuck in the nostalgia, and don't dream of the caterpillar days. Sometimes it seems like life was simpler before, but you have to embrace who you are becoming, and keep your wits about you. You know who you are. You have everything you need. Something from the past could be coming back in a new way. Because I feel like if it's a job you once worked for, then this could be coming back, but you go in at a higher position than before. That type of thing. I also feel like it's, because it says revisiting a job. So like reassessing what in your life is working and what's not. What is serving you and pushing you towards your true goals, and what is holding you back. Being really, really honest with yourself. Okay, for the Sacred Soul timing, I got December, give and receive to have all the resources you need. Love, family, giving, and kindness. And the one on the bottom of the deck is April. Water your hopes and watch them start to bloom. Planting, nurture, and blossom. So I feel like there was some kind of seed that was planted in December. Right under that is manifesting. Sit still and move the universe around you. Visualize, attract, and mindset. I'm going to keep that one there. So again, under that, your choice, you're running the show and you get to decide power, authority, and status. A long time. Think long term as you're building something to last. Gradual unfolding and future. In June, enjoy small pleasures and endless opportunities, leisure, escape, and beauty. Under that, divine timing, and then wish fulfilled. I mean, really, I could go on and on and on forever and ever, but it feels like something, the seeds that you have planted, the seeds that you planted last year, now is the time to start nurturing those seeds and giving them the space to grow and bloom. It will be a long journey, but it will be a very fulfilling journey. You're playing the long game. You're building something to last. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This is a stay rich plan. You're literally deciding who you're becoming, deciding what you want to create, what you want to manifest. Pleasure and joy, there's a lot of opportunity for that. Those are the seeds that you're nurturing and planting. Divine timing is at play. Trusting in that and knowing that your wish will be fulfilled. Be spontaneous and take the risks. This is your destiny. That's getting out of your comfort zone, answering this call, whatever this calling was, whatever this is pulling you towards. Nurturing that within you, knowing that you're the one running the show. You get to decide. Your mindset is literally so powerful. That's a pretty good place to step into. Even though the liminal space is difficult and cloudy or confusing, sometimes very, very difficult to be in, know that the journey ahead of you is different. It's not going to be as difficult as it was in the past, but it will require self-awareness and self-loyalty, learning to stop abandoning yourself or betraying yourself, and truly investing in yourself, nurturing that energy within you, nurturing those gifts. You're on the precipice of something really, really good. But it's about you busting out of your shell, becoming something more, something bigger, something other. No longer limiting yourself, not being afraid to shine. I love you, and I hope that made sense.